Hi everyone, welcome to another whiteboard session. I'm Penney, and today we're going to discuss the good, better, best pricing strategy and the psychology behind why it's going to work for you. So imagine this. It's 6:30 in the evening on Thursday. It's been a long week. You're ready for the weekend. And your favorite colleague turns to you and says, hey, let's go grab a drink. So you go to the bar next door, and there are three options on the menu. Number one, a cheap draft beer. Number two, a specialty cocktail. And number three, a bottle of expensive champagne. Let's call it Dom Perignon. Which do you choose? The truth is, the psychology behind decisions like these has been studied for years. In his book, Priceless, The Myth of Fair Value and How to Take Advantage of It, William Poundstone actually discusses a study that was conducted by an MIT professor years ago. He worked with a local bar that was serving two beer offerings, and what he found was that on average, patrons would choose the cheapest beer 15% of the time, which meant the other 85% of patrons were choosing the second option. Without changing anything, the type of beer, the price of the beer, what our MIT professor did was introduce a third premium option, and the results were interesting. What he found was just simply the introduction of a more premium offering swayed this curve. What we found was 10% of patrons were now choosing the cheap option, 80% landed in the middle, and 10% went for that premium selection, thereby giving the bar higher overall profits year to year. So, how can we use this to help increase your sales at your company? Were you like 80% of the population in this study? Did you choose that specialty cocktail offered by the bar? If so, it makes sense, right? It's been a long week, you're tired, you think that you deserve more than just a cheap beer. But it's also a Thursday, so we're not going crazy. Maybe we'll scale back from that Dom Perignon. So this is all well and good if you're selling beer, but what if you're selling a B2B solution? Well, the same psychology is going to apply. When you're putting together your offering for your customer, you want to do so by presenting three different packages. Let's talk about how you construct those packages. The first is going to be your good solution. Now remember, any solution you're about to discuss, any price you're going to put out there, needs to follow a solid discovery. If you don't know which solution you offer is going to solve the pain that your customer is experiencing, please don't talk price at all. Go back and rediscover. But once you're confident that you know what's going to help your customer, then we can start with our minimum viable product. Now remember, the cheapest option we give to the customer doesn't necessarily mean it's the cheapest option that you as a company go to market with. We need to present the minimum product that's going to solve our customer's pain. Then we put together our second package. And remember, 80% of your customers on average are going to gravitate towards the middle. So make sure that this is a package you know for sure is going to solve all of your customers' pain and set you up for a beautiful partnership moving forward. And finally, we've got our third most premium offering. This is going to encompass everything you've presented in options 1 and 2 with some embellishments. Maybe add-ons, maybe you're going to build in extra users so that you can grow with the company as they grow. Maybe you'll do a multi-year. Whatever it is, we want to make sure that this is our most premium solution. And then it's a matter of presenting it to the customer. So let's talk about 3 tips that you need to present the good, better, best pricing strategy and win every time. Let's put this into practice in your world. What you want to do is present your prospects with 3 options that are all going to solve their problems, but do it in a way that's psychologically going to push them to that middle ground. For instance, if I want to put together a good package, what I'm going to do is put together all of the options in my product offering that solve the immediate need of the customer. Maybe it's just the bare bones, but it's going to be the most cost-effective solution. And remember, just because you're presenting a cost-effective solution to your prospect doesn't mean that it needs to be the cheapest solution your company offers. It needs to be the minimum viable package that will solve all of the problems your prospect has told you that they're experiencing. And before we go any further, remember, never talk price without doing a solid discovery. If you don't know confidently which package you offer that's going to solve your prospect's problem, you need to go back to step 1 and continue discovery. Once you've put together your good option, then you can start thinking about your better option. Now remember, 80% of your customers on average are going to choose this middle of the road. So if you're a sales rep, this is where you want to be projecting. This is going to be the number you should assume is going to retire your quota. This is where you're anchoring your customers to fall because on average, psychologically, 80% of the time, that's where they're going to end up. So this package should have everything needed to solve the customer's problem and also establish a partnership between their company and your own. And finally, we put together our premium package, our Dom Perignon of offerings. This is going to include everything that Good and Better has, but with a couple of embellishments. So a few examples for you here. Maybe you have multi-year terms. You can add them in to our best package. Maybe you've got add-ons. Maybe you are setting your customer up for growth. If you sell on a licensing structure, bucket in an extra 10, 20, 50 licenses and tell them that it's so they can grow over the next year. This is going to be your most elite offering and allow your customers to experience growth with you for years to come. Now, a couple of things about these percentages. Studies have been shown that the 10% who purchase the most elite offering are going to do that because they themselves view their organization as elite. We all have those friends. They're always going to order the Dom Perignon champagne when they go out to the bar because they believe they deserve it and they believe that their company is worth it. And if that's the case, those 10% are always going to buy that top tier. But don't be disappointed if they don't go for the most intense offering. Again, most of our prospects are going to end up right in the middle. On the other end of the spectrum, some people will always choose the cheapest option, and that's totally fine too. By presenting 3 options, we're not always going to see people fall in the middle, but we're giving them the flexibility to choose what they're most comfortable with. So there are 3 tips on how you can do this well every time. Number 1, we're calling it good, better, best. But the reality of the situation is when you're presenting it to your prospects, you need to start with the most expensive option, then present option 2 and option 1 in reverse order. Why? Well, psychologically, we want to make sure we're hitting our customer with the biggest price tag first, because this is what we can then scale back from as we present our lower options. The other piece about this is when you're discussing the best option first, then you move to the lower packages, you don't want to be removing features and functionalities, you want to be removing value. Make the customer understand that a lower price point is also going to come with reduced pared back features. Number 2 is remember the delta. The delta being the difference in your good, better, and best price. If it isn't logical how the offers are spaced out, the prospect isn't going to work in this 10, 80, 10% rule. So for example, if that bar had offered a $5 beer option, a $10 beer option, and a $150 beer option, these percentages would have skewed because the delta between the numbers didn't make sense psychologically. Finally, storytell. As is the case anytime you're selling anything, we want to be storytellers. We want to paint a picture to our customer of the world and how it's going to look once they've implemented our solution. When you're discussing your best, better, and good packages, explain to them what it will mean for them, separate from price, separate from feature functionality. What is it going to accomplish and how is it going to solve their pain? So let's see this in action. Imagine that you just landed in California and you head over to pick up your rental car. I am your rental car salesperson, and you tell me that you're looking to drive the coast. You want a car that's going to allow you to have the breeze in your hair. You've got a custom playlist that you've been creating for weeks. Here's how I might pitch to you. Thank you so much for choosing to visit us in California. I've got 3 great options for your experience. Number 1 is we can get you into the car that everybody wants when they are doing the exact same thing that you have planned. We've got this amazing red Corvette convertible. It's got Bose speakers. It's got the drop top so you can have that wind in your hair. It's got the built-in navigation so you can get lost but never feel truly lost along the way. It is the absolute best package that we have to accomplish that vision you want of seeing all the sights. And we can do it for you for $200 a day. Now, if that's a little outside of your budget, no problem at all. We've got a really comfortable option in our Jeep Wrangler. It's not going to be the same exact sporty feel, and we've got to pare back those Bose speakers and that satellite navigation, but you're still able to take those doors off, feel the wind in your hair, and have that really authentic California experience. Now, we do have a package for everyone. So if $150 a day for that Jeep is a little outside of your budget, No problem at all. Our final option is just a standard sedan. We can get you in a Toyota Corolla and you'll still be able to get from point A to B, see all the sights. You may just not feel that wind in your hair, but for $100 a day, not a bad value. From here, silence. Remember, anytime you discuss pricing with your prospect, be silent. Give them a moment to internalize it and then let them tell you how they feel. From here, again, 10% of people on average are just going to choose the cheapest option because they're watching their budget. 10% are going to choose that Corvette because they want that luxurious lifestyle. But if done right, with this strategy, 80% of the time you can count on your prospects choosing that middle of the road and thereby increasing the overall profits that you experience with your B2B sales team. So, in summary, psychologically, the good, better, best pricing strategy is going to be the most lucrative for you and your teams as you go to market. On average, 10% of people will choose your cheapest option, 80% will choose that middle ground, and 10% will choose the best because they want the best. As long as you do this right, and remember, these 3 tips will help you do it right every time. Start with the highest, most elite package and pare back value, not dollars. Number 2, remember the delta. Make sure that it's psychologically sound to move between these 3 options. And finally, paint your picture as a storyteller. Explain the world and how it's going to look with your solution and what it might look like if you have to pare back. Thank you all so much for watching today. If you decide to try this out, let us know how it goes. Add it to the comments below and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much.